is that we sent work for you to do outside of the session. There were 2 videos that we asked you to have a look at because we cannot show a video over Zoom. It just causes all kinds of problems. So I want to speak to the video on pair share. And we also sent you the video on grandma's bananas. But the pair share video is a very important piece of our strategies in Read Aloud. And it's important to us because, and we hope to you, because it helps move teaching away from memorization. I have a guiding principle, which is that if a question is good enough to ask, then every child needs to have a chance to answer it. And pair share gives every child a chance to answer the question. Now that's my thoughts on pair share. It's very important to me that I have your reactions to the video. So are there a couple of people who would be willing to share their reactions to it? And your reaction could be, what did you learn from it? Could you use it? And did you like those children in the video? Those children actually go to a school in the city, in the town that Sally lives in. So let's see if we can get a few people to to give me an answer, and for the rest of you to put your answers in the chat. And next time around, we might have a strategy for picking your name out of a hat with the opportunity to pass. But this time it's completely voluntary. Are there any of you who would share your reaction to the pair share video? Give us your thoughts as we get going.
I can share one thing while others are thinking and getting ready to share. I learned from the 2 videos that you can do pair share with young children as well as older children. So with young children, it can be very simple. And with older children, you can ask bigger questions and they can talk a little bit longer. That's what I learned.
Well, if no one feels able to answer at this point, Shauna, we can ask them to keep that in mind, and we can return to this in the middle of the session as we had thought about moving from one kind of question to the other. We can come back to this.
Sure, that's fine. Okay, so now we're going to start by reading Grandma's Bananas. So I hope you had a chance to look at the book and watch the video. But just to start, we're gonna start by looking at the cover, because we always like to look at the cover and have students take a minute to explore what they might be reading. So the story we will read today is Grandma's Bananas. Can someone tell me, what do you see on the cover? What do you notice?
A woman.
Woman, yes. What else?
I can see the banana leaf.
Banana leaves, yeah.
I can put the basket.
Yeah, a basket. What's on top of the basket? Who's sitting on the basket?
Chicken.
A chicken or a rooster. Yeah. And now I wonder, someone said they see a woman. How do you think she's feeling? When you look at her face and her body, how do you think she feels?
She looks like she's smiling.
She's smiling. So if she's smiling, do you think she's feeling happy, or do you think she's sad about something?
According to what I'm saying, she's happy.
Yeah, it looks like she's happy, right? When we're happy, we smile and we do different things. So now I want you to look at this cover and tell me, what do you predict will happen in the story? I know many of you have read it already, so you know what happens, but it's important to ask your students what they think will happen. And it's okay if they don't know. They're just going to guess by looking at the cover. Yeah, Sally?
Me, when I look this cover, I think, according to the title of the book, Grandma's Banana, I think this woman have a lot of bananas.
Great, thanks, Esther. So Esther thinks that from the book and what she sees, that maybe this woman has a lot of bananas.
And I'm thinking that since the chicken is in the picture, that chicken plays a part in the story.
So Sally's thinking that maybe this chicken or this rooster on the basket has an important role in the story or plays an important part. Any other ideas about what might? Yes, Albert?
To this woman, she's look like a farmer.
Oh,
A farmer, yeah, farmer.
Yeah, she looks like a farmer, right? So maybe
Yeah.
so maybe she's farming bananas and other things, maybe more than just bananas. Thank you. All right, so let's get started and read our story. So I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen so that I can show you the book. So I'm going to do it with an actual book. So it will be a little hard to see, but I will try to come closer so you can see the pictures. But I want you to see how I actually hold the book and use it in the classroom. Okay. So our book is called Grandma's Bananas. Grandma's garden was wonderful. It was full of sorghum, millet, and cassava. But best of all were the bananas. Although Grandma had many grandchildren, I secretly knew that I was her favorite. She invited me to her house. She also told me little secrets. But there was one secret she did not share: where she ripened bananas. So the little girl in this story, if you can see her, this little girl, she says she's her grandma's favorite. But her grandma does not tell her where she ripens her bananas. One day, I saw a big straw basket placed in the sun outside Grandma's house. When I asked what it was for, the only answer I got was, "It's my magic basket." Next to the basket there were several banana leaves that Grandma turned from time to time. I was curious. What are the leaves for, Grandma? I asked. The only answer I got was, they are my magic leaves. So she won't tell her what it is. It was so interesting watching Grandma, the bananas, the banana leaves, and the big straw basket. But Grandma sent me off. Grandma, please let me watch as you prepare the bananas. Don't be stubborn, child. Do as you are told, she insisted. I took off running. So let's pause here. Can someone tell me, what does the girl want to know? What does she want to know so badly? Yeah, Albert?
Yeah, what makes her to know is to see what's inside in the basket. That's why it makes her to have a lot of curiosity to see what his grandma having in their basket.
Yeah, she's so curious to know what's in the basket. How does she ripen the banana? She really wants to know. But why did the girl cry when her grandma sent her home? In this picture, why is the girl upset? Can someone tell me?
Okay, another thing that makes her to run, her grandma, after looking that these children have a lot of curiosity to see what he makes, he take a right decision to chase her to go out. That's why he runs very quickly. Is it due to avoid these children hello?
Sorry, it sounds like someone's video has a little bit of noise in the background. Esther, would you like to share something?
Yeah, I wanted to share the reason why this girl go away with crying with sadness. It's because the grandma sent her away without telling her the secret what was in the basket. That secret she wanted to know.
Yeah, exactly. She really wants to know what is in the basket. But the grandma sent her away and did not tell her. You're right, good. All right, let's keep reading and find out. When I returned, Grandma was sitting outside, but without the basket and without the bananas. Grandma, where is the basket? Where are all the bananas? And where? But the only answer I got was, they are in my magic place. It was so disappointing. Two days later, Grandma sent me to fetch her walking stick. As soon as I opened her bedroom door, I was welcomed by the smell of ripening bananas. In the inner room was Grandma's big magic basket. It was well hidden by an old blanket. I lifted it up and sniffed the delicious smell. You can see there's the basket and it's being covered. Grandma's voice startled me. What are you doing? Hurry up and bring me my walking stick. I hurried out with her walking stick. What are you smiling about? Grandma said. Her question made me realize that I was still smiling at the discovery of her magic place. So let's pause here again. What happens when Grandma sends the girl to get her walking stick? What happened?
Hello, can I answer?
Beautiful smile.
There's someone with the name iPhone. I'm not sure who it is, but would you like to share?
Yes, I need to share. When the grandma sent her to the room, because she has a curiosity to know what is in a magic basket, she opened it and see what is that and what is inside.
Yeah, so when the grandma sends her to her bedroom, she finds the magic place. She finds the basket. I'm wondering, what do you all think she will do next? Now that she knows where the magic place is, what do you think the girl will do next? Esther?
I think she will come with excitement to tell her grandma that she found that secret hidden from her.
So Esther thinks that she will keep it a secret, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I said she will come with so excitement to her grandma, and she told her that she found that secret she was hiding, and then she will ask her to give her a banana to eat.
Okay, sorry, I couldn't hear you well the first time, but so Esther thinks that she will tell her grandma, I found the basket, I found it, and that maybe her grandma will give her some bananas to eat. It's a good prediction. Does anyone else have a different idea of what might happen next? Maybe we all like Esther's prediction. We all think that that's going to happen. All right, let's keep reading. The following day, when Grandma came to visit my mother, I rushed to her house to check the bananas. There was a bunch of very ripe ones. I picked one and hid it in my dress. After covering the basket again, I went behind the house and quickly ate the banana. It was the sweetest banana I ever tasted. So you can see her eating the banana and the chicken's just watching her. The following day, when Grandma was in the garden picking vegetables, I sneaked in and peered at the bananas. She was looking at the bananas. Nearly all of the bananas were ripe. I couldn't help taking a bunch of 4. As I tiptoed toward the door, I heard Grandma coughing. I just managed to hide the bananas under my dress and walked past her. So you can see the bananas are under her dress. She took 4 of them this time. All right, let's stop here. How do you think the girl is feeling right now? We know that she's taken some of the bananas. How do you think she's feeling? How do you think the girl is feeling? Yeah, Noella?
I think she steal the banana.
Yeah,
Her grandmother.
she's stealing the bananas. How do you think she's feeling though about stealing it? How do you think she feels? Do you think the girl is happy to be stealing the bananas? Does she feel clever for stealing the bananas?
Satisfied.
Maybe she feels a little bad because she's stealing from her grandma.
Or just how clever she is that she solved the problem. She can taste them.
Mhm.
She feels like she's in trouble because why grandma found me.
Yeah, maybe she feels like she's in trouble. What do you think will happen next? So we know the little girl has taken some of the grandma's bananas. But what do you think will happen next? Francine?
Thank you. The girl, she doesn't know what to do because her grandma did not tell us her about the bananas. But another way, she steals. The next thing, what happened? I think her grandma knows the bananas was stolen. Then she will ask the girl or she will tell us the parents to ask the girl where the bananas are.
So Francine thinks that the grandma is going to ask her, she's going to find out and she's going to ask her, where are the bananas? Where did they go? What did you do with them? Does anyone think something different will happen?
For me, I think her grandma will. Sorry.
You want to try again, Esther?
Okay, for me, I
this child continue to find out where bananas are, and finally she got the bananas. She did not give up to find what she wants until he get the ripened bananas, and the curiosity was at the end.
Okay, thank you, Burton. It was a little difficult to hear, but I think he was saying that she was so happy that she found the bananas and she finally found the ripened bananas. Okay. All right. Oh, yes, Albert, you have another thought?
Thank you. Another thing that makes these children to steal the banana, after taking the banana and eat, she finds that it is very sweet. And afterwards, after knowing that it is very sweet, he takes a lot of and hiding in their trouser, in their dress, her dress. Yeah, that's why he ran very after hearing that her grandmother, she's coming. That's why he runs very fast and passes through her grandmother and ran away.
Yeah, so she was hiding the bananas in her dress and she was running away from her grandma and sneaking around to eat the sweet bananas. All right, let's keep reading to find out how it ends. Oops. The following day was market day. Grandma woke up early. She always took ripe bananas and cassava to sell at the market. I did not hurry to visit her that day. but I could not avoid her for long. Later that evening, I was called by my mother and father and grandma. I knew why. That night, as I lay down to sleep, I knew I could never steal again, not from grandma, not from my parents, and certainly not from anyone else. So what happened? Why did her parents call her? It says, later that evening, I was called by my mother and father and grandma. Why was she called by them? What happened?
Can I answer, please?
Yes.
The parents has called her because there was no news that she steal the bananas.
Exactly. They knew that she was stealing the bananas. How did they find out? How do you think grandma found out that there was some bananas stolen? Yeah, Francine?
When grandma went to the market to sell the bananas, she found that there are some bananas stored. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, when she went to the market to sell the bananas, she knew that some of them were missing. So she was not able to sell them and make any money for those bananas because her granddaughter stole them. How do you think on this last page at the very end, how do you think everyone's feeling? Maybe let's start with the first one. How do you think her parents are feeling? The girl's parents, how do you think she feels in the end right now?
I think the girl feels so sad because when the parent called her, she knows what happened. He thought grandma, maybe he says about the story, the banana to the parents.
Yeah, so the girl feels so sad. She knows that she did the wrong thing. She doesn't feel good about it. What about grandma? How does grandma feel?
Can I answer?
Yes, Esther.
I think also, but also grandma, she was also sad because her favorite grandchild was disappointed her. So she was also sad by asking herself, why does she started to learn how to steer?
Yeah, right. Her grandma was so sad because it was her favorite granddaughter. It was her favorite granddaughter who was stealing from her. So she was super sad. Bindu, did you want to share something? I think I saw them unmute, but that's okay. Sally, did you want to share something? You have your hand up.
I was thinking that her parents were disappointed in her for behaving that way.
Yes, we understand, but the banana are a good food for our DRC, and we have many problems with those food here without solar and temperament. So we need to know how can do if we want to agree that you call banana. What can we do now?
Yeah, I was sorry, it was a little hard for me to hear. But I think you were talking about some of the fruits that you have where you live. I think if you have bananas in where you live, you can use bananas, or I mean, you could also talk about other fruits that maybe is sold at market or at the store. You can connect the story to other things that the children know. So if there's a different fruit that the students know better, you can also talk about that.
Yes, thank you very
Okay.
much. But
Great.
Comment comment
yes.
Okay. Great, thank you. So let's review, now that we've finished our story, let's go back to what we thought at the very beginning, what we thought would happen. So before we read the story, we thought that maybe the woman was a farmer and she had lots of bananas in her farm. So let's review what actually happened. So if you remember in the beginning, why was the girl upset in the beginning? Why was she so upset? What happened in the beginning?
Can I answer?
Yeah, Esther.
For that part, the girl wanted to know the secret was in the basket of her grandma. And then after that, grandma sent her away.
Yeah, she was upset because she wanted to know what was in the basket, but her grandma wouldn't tell her. So her grandma sent her away. But what was the girl's plan? What was her plan? What did she do next?
May I answer?
Yes, Burton.
Next one, the girl continue to have a curiosity what is found in the basket, continue to have he wants to see what the grandma hide for has hidden for her. But the girl continued and continued, but finally he got what it was in the straw basket. Thank you.
She really wanted to know what it was, right? So she was going to keep trying to find out what was in the basket. And then what happened when she found the basket? What happened? She found the basket in, where was the basket? Does anyone remember?
Yes, in the basket, we found the ripened bananas in the basket.
Yeah, where was
the basket? There was the basket, the banana. In the banana, in the basket, there was the bananas.
Yeah, and she found the basket in her grandma's room. Remember, her grandma wanted her to go get her walking stick, her cane, and she found it in her grandma's room. But why did she get in trouble? Why did she get in trouble at the end? What did she do? What happened at the end?
I answer.
Yeah, Marie Paul.
Yes. At the end, because the girl eat the bananas, she have a problem that they know what shows happen. Now at the end, she asked forgiveness. It is why she says she could not never steal again to anybody.
Yeah, so at the end, she gets in trouble for stealing her grandma's bananas, and she knows that she cannot steal ever again. Okay, so now that we've reviewed the story, let's think of an idea. What can the girl do to help grandma now? So she already stole the bananas from her grandma, and her grandma could not sell them at the market. But what could she do to make her grandma feel better or to repay her grandma for taking the bananas? Yeah, Noella?
I think she can help her grandmother to sell the banana.
Yes, maybe next time she goes to the market, she can help her grandma to sell the bananas. What else could she do?
Yeah.
Can I answer?
Yeah, Esther.
I think after that, now she can help her grandma to work in the garden.
Yeah, maybe now she can help her grandma actually work in the garden to grow more bananas so that they can sell it. Good. All right. Thank you so much for reading the story with me. Now we want to go back to the now we want to go back to the pair share activity. And we're going to do a pair share. I'm not sure if the breakout rooms will work, but we can try. What do you think, Maid? I think we can try it.
Let's try.
Okay. So now that we've reviewed I'm going to share my screen. Our pair share activity. So if you remember at the beginning, Maida shared that pair share is a really good teaching strategy to help students talk to each other and to make sure that each student has a chance to answer the question. Okay, so if you watch the video, you saw the children, they would turn and they would talk to each other and they would take turns sharing their ideas. So the first student would share their answer and then the second student would go. And when it was finished, all of the students would come back and they would share their answers with the whole class. Okay? So we're going to answer some wondering questions. Wondering questions are when we wonder about a story and we share our feelings or our ideas. So these are not questions that have a right answer. There's no right answer. These are questions from your heart. If you feel a certain way, someone might feel differently. So when we wonder about a story, we share our feelings or ideas. And they're questions about how we feel, so there's no right or wrong answers, okay? So first we're gonna do a demonstration, and I'm going to have Maida and Sally do a pair share. So if they were in the classroom, they would turn to each other in their desks or at their chairs, and they would talk for a minute. But I want them to think about this wondering question. I wonder if there's a part of the story you liked. And I wonder why you liked that part. So I'll put it in the chat box. And then I'm going to give Maida and Sally just 1 quick minute, a quick response to talk to each other. Okay, over to you.
Okay, my favorite part were pages 4 and 5, where the little girl was looking and so curious, because when I was a kid, I used to do at the holiday time or my birthday, I was looking to see what presents were set aside for me.
So in pair share, we just answered the question. We don't go ahead and comment on it. So now it's my turn. And the video said to repeat the question. So I'm answering the question, what part of the story did I like and why? Now, the part of the story that I liked the best was the last ending of the story. And I liked that because they didn't punish her. It seems to me that they were having a discussion. And I thought that was very helpful, because when I was a child, if someone did anything wrong, they were punished. And it wasn't explained. And it seems to me that in that picture, I see care and understanding on the parents' eyes. Now, this is a grown-up response. It's not a child's response, but I'm just modeling why I liked that picture, that part of the story.
And I pretended to be a kid.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for doing your pair share. And so if I was with a whole class doing the pair share, I would have everyone come back and I would repeat the question. I wonder if there was a part of the story you liked. I wonder why. And then I would ask maybe 1 or 2 students in the class to share their answers. But now I would like you all to practice. So there's one other question I will add to the chat box. And this question is, I wonder if there was ever a time in your life when an adult kept information from you. I wonder how you responded. So if you remember in our story, Grandma did not tell her grandchild where the bananas were or what was in the basket. She did not tell her. So I wonder if there was ever a time when someone kept information from you. I wonder how you responded. So I think we're going to try breakout rooms. I don't know how it will go, but we're going to try. And in your breakout rooms, I want you to try and do a pair share. Take turns answering one of the questions. And then when we come back together, I will ask 1 or 2 people to share what they talked about. So I'm going to assign breakout rooms. And if you could please try to go to your room and discuss with your partners. You should see a note on your screen to go to your breakout room. You click join room. If you could please go to your breakout rooms and discuss with your partners.
Hello.
Hi, did you see a message to join a breakout room?
This story is interesting for me.
Right now, everyone is talking in a breakout room. Did you see
Hello?
a message? Did you see
Hello.
a message to join a breakout room? I have closed the breakout room, so everyone should return in about 1 minute. All right, everyone should be returning in about a minute. So it seems like we'll see when everyone comes back, but it might have been a little difficult to do the breakout rooms.
Kiragute kuganira. Kuganira ibiki?
If you could please just make sure you're muted. For some reason, it's not letting me mute you. Okay, I think I got it now. All right, welcome back as you're all coming back to the room. I think everyone should be back now. Okay, so if I could have one person share what they discussed in their breakout room. Now that you talked, yes? Okay, so if I could have one person from your breakout room share what you discussed. So remember, our questions are, I wonder if there's a part of the story that you liked. And the other question was, I wonder if there was ever a time when an adult kept information from you. Can I have one person share with all of us what they talked about it?
Hello, can you share?
Yes, Marie Paul.
Yeah, there is a story there is a family where they was have a small children, and the mother has a box where he put money. Now, because they didn't like the children that money, when they ask mommy, what is inside? He said it is something when wonder there is Kongo change. This is something you can't know. And the children have a curiosity to know what happened and what is inside. Sometimes they took that box and check to know what is inside. And what happened, those children, every day they need to to watch and to see if they can see the mother open. And there is a day she was open, they found, in that box there is a money. Yeah, that is our story.
Thank you for sharing. So Marie Paul shared that one time she was looking through all the books to find some of the money that's hidden in there. And then one time they did find it and they were so excited to find the hidden money. Thank you. Esther, we'll take one more because it's almost time's up.
Okay, I want to share also. Our question was the information was hidden from us. So we have some story of when I was kid, when I was young, our dad used to be raised. Our mom used to hide us. She always told us our dad went to study at school. So one day, a few days later, we found that our dad is raised. We all got sad. That was really bad time for us.
Thank you for sharing, Esther. It was a little hard to hear, but I heard about you were going to school and your dad was in the story. And I'm sorry I could not hear it very well. But we'll do one more. So Judith, would you like to share?
Yeah, the part I liked most from the story is the part of the young girl being curious to know where the grandma was, how she was hiding the bananas, and she could search and find the bananas. And I remembered when we were young, mostly in Africa, we were not told where children came from. So we used to be told the children came from the aeroplane. So when a baby is being born, we were curious to know where the baby is coming from. And many times they could tell us the plane just dropped the baby and our mom picked the baby. So one day we decided to be curious to know where the baby was coming from. And when our mommy was carrying the baby, we could think that she has eaten a lot and that's why she's full. So there was a time she was taken to the hospital and she came back with a baby. And we kept on asking, you told us that the baby is coming from the plane and we have not seen any plane landing here to give the baby. How comes you went to the hospital and you came with the baby? And it took some time for them to reveal to us how the babies were being born. And you know, when you are young, during those days, we didn't know anything of being born. We were just told the babies come from the plane. Maybe a plane is passing by and it brought the baby. So the curiosity of this young girl, I just remember the story that we were told by our mothers that the baby came from the plane. So she was so curious until she knew where the bananas, how the bananas got ripened and why the grandma was hiding the bananas from her. Thank you.
Thank you, Judith. Thank you for sharing. So Judith was sharing about, she was curious where babies come from. And so she shared that one time, her friend or her family had a baby and they were wondering where it came from because there was no plane that went by. And they thought that the babies came from the planes. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so unfortunately, we're going to start closing because it's been an hour now. And I thank you all for your participation. So hopefully the breakout rooms were okay. We might try to do them again next week. So just remember that if you see the notification, you go to the room and all the questions will be in the chat box. So hopefully that worked okay for your group. And I thank you all for sharing your responses. If we had more time, I would love to hear from more of you, but unfortunately we do not have much time. So I wanted to quickly show you, after you do wondering questions with your students, usually we like to do a processing activity. So these are activities to help students take what they learned in the story and to take it outside of the book. So to do an activity to practice what they've learned. So we don't have time to do it, but we will come back to processing activities in our final training session. So in 2 more weeks, we will look at processing activities again. But I just wanted to quickly show you what the activities are for this book. And if you watch the whole video, the YouTube video, you will have seen us demonstrate the processing activities. But the 2 activities for this story that we had is a role play activity. So you can choose some students to play the different characters. So in our story, you can have one student be the grandma, one student could be the child, and the other could be the parents. So then you read a few pages. So maybe you read the first 3 pages, and then you stop and you ask the students to continue the story so they can make a new ending or find a new solution to the problem. So this is a fun way for students to act out and to practice what they've learned and to be creative and create a new ending. And the other processing activity we had is a feelings activity. So this is a nice activity for students to work by themselves or to work quietly. And you can have them draw one of the characters in the story. So if they choose one character like grandma, they can draw her, draw grandma, and then they can write a sentence. So this sentence is blank feels blank because. So for example, if I choose grandma, I put grandma feels sad because she did not have bananas to sell at the market. So that's my sentence, and students can choose anything they want and write anything they want. If they are more advanced in English, if their English is really good, you can ask them to write more than one sentence. They can write other things as well. So we'll come back to processing activities later, but for the last 2 trainings, we will look at the parts of a lesson. And we will learn how to create a lesson plan. And then you will get a chance to actually practice and create your own lesson plan. So next week, we will look at the beginning and the middle. So the beginning is the vocabulary and the bridge activity. And the middle part of a lesson is reading the story. So just like we did today, how you ask questions and you read the story to students. We will be sending some more materials in the WhatsApp group. I will share some more videos for you to watch and to prepare before next week, so that when we come to the session next week, we will have more discussion, okay? So today was a lot of me reading and us doing the story. But next week will be more discussion about how to create a lesson plan. Okay, Maida, anything you'd like to add about what's coming next? You're muted, Maida.
I beg your pardon. Yes, we will be sending out material for you to explore and try to get your head around before the next session. And I just want to emphasize how important it is for you to do the work outside of the 1-hour training. So that's my parting request, that when material is sent to you, that you conscientiously go over the material so that in the next session, we will be asking you to use it, to put it into practice. So those are my final words. My final words are always do the homework.
Thank you, Maida. Okay, so before we leave, we like to do an exit ticket. So just a way for us to understand what you learned and what you are taking away from this training. So I'm going to type the question in the chat box. What is one thing you learned today? Or what was your favorite part of the training? And you can type it in the chat box. You can type a few words into the chat box, or if you'd like to unmute and share with everyone, you can as well. So we have from Albert, I learned to ask forgiveness. That's great. The story definitely taught us that. What else did you learn today?
In the chat line.
Yeah, you can put it in the chat line, in the chat box, or you can share it just with everyone if you'd like.
Hello, Semaripa, I can share. What I learned today, it is to tell the children the truth. Because if we don't tell the truth, he can themselves to discover what she needs to know.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marie Paul. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Judith put in the chat box that we should not cheat and we should really be open to the children's questions. That's great.
And Marie Paul, would you put yours in the chat box so we have it? Because it was very helpful.
Sorry?
Can you write your answer in the chat line?
Okay, let me try.
Thank you. I know sometimes it's difficult on a cell phone to type in the chat box.
Sorry, yeah.
Let's take one more minute. I want to see some more answers in the chat box. We only have heard from 3 people so far. Esther, I have learned about pair share, which was really good to you and it was helpful for the children. Thank you. And you'll use it in your class. That's great to hear. Console put, I learned to tell the truth and her favorite part was page 6 of the book. I'm glad. Thank you. If you've written your answer, you are free to go. We'd like to see a little bit more. We want to thank you all for joining and participating today. It was wonderful to hear so many voices sharing today. And I hope that as we continue that we hear more folks and we get to hear more people share responses as well.
Shauna, would it be possible to ask people to tell us their answer on the WhatsApp so we can finish up, but we can get all the answers from everyone?
Sure. It looks like some people are trying to type in the chat line. But if you do not have time to write it now, please tell us what you learned in the chat box, or I'm sorry, in the WhatsApp group. So we can follow up in the WhatsApp group with these questions. And you can please let us know.
Yeah.
We have from Noella to tell the truth. We have from Francine to not keep very many secrets. And her favorite part was the end of the story. From Diane, we have she learned to tell all the information to the children.
Yeah.
And not keep secrets. So we're going to end here, but I will write in the chat box the questions. And if you did not answer in the chat box, please feel free to write it in the chat, in the WhatsApp group. That is one. Okay, so I just put the questions in the WhatsApp group. So we're going to end here and then we're going to continue this conversation in the WhatsApp. So I just want to thank you all again so much. If you have any questions, you can message us in WhatsApp and we're happy to help you, or you can send an email. And we look forward to seeing you all next week. So please make sure to watch the videos we send and all the materials, and then we'll have a good discussion next week. All right, thank you all so much. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye, bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Bye.
Bye, bye.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye.
Jonah, I'll stay here for a